we are live from my home office here in Silver Lake. This is What's Good Live. I'm going to add Justin Walter, my co-host, in on this. If I can, I've never done this before. Hi, Justin. Can you send me your request? There you go. View. Go live. Woo, 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 woo. Waiting for Justin. We are live on What's Good Live. We're waiting for Justin.
Hello. I got to
the scratch map behind you.
I do. I got to adjust my phone a little bit. Hi, Amy.
Hi. It's good to see you. I've missed you.
I haven't seen you since this all started. I'm so excited to chat with you and excited to see you live.
I know, you too. By the way, just that scratch map, it's drawing my attention. We have the same one in Ember's nursery.
You do?
Oh, but it looks very different. You've been to different places than me.
I actually have to take it down and scratch off a couple more. I have been lazy I went to South Africa 2 years ago and I still haven't scratched it off.
Well, you've got nothing but time right now, Justin. Get that scratching going.
Got to make use of the time, right?
Well, before we get started, Justin, just how are you? What's going on in your life? Are you doing okay?
I'm doing fine. I think this has been a roller coaster, definitely ups and downs. I have gone through ups and downs just like anybody with my work in travel and media and television. Everything's been at a standstill, so I've had to be creative in coming up with new ways of doing things like Instagram Lives and having travel friends join me for that and doing different types of blogs and trying to stay productive and positive. It's not easy, but it's always good talking to people and friends like you to help keep me positive, you know?
Absolutely. Connection is everything. And seeing your face just fills me up so much. Justin, actually, happy friendversary. You posted a picture yesterday.
I know.
Of Cinco de Mayo. That blows my mind. Like, that's when we really started to become friends. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, Justin shared a photo yesterday on Cinco de Mayo. We first became friends when we worked at E together about 11 years ago, because that memory popped up when we did We Care. Remember we did that give back?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yes, that just came up. And then you posted that picture yesterday, which was in what, 2014?
It was either 2014, 6 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable. So how did that happen? Refresh my memory of like how we even discovered that we were both going to be in Panama at the same time.
Yeah, so Amy was hosting Dating Naked, and she told me that they were shooting in Panama, and I was just happened to have a plan to go backpacking through Central America. So then I rerouted my trip to come spend 2 days with you at your mansion that you had by yourself. They gave you a mansion at Red Frog Beach. Hold on, I'm going to adjust this a little bit because the comments are
right in front of your face.
Yeah, but so Amy, you had that mansion to yourself at Red Frog Beach in Panama in Boca del Toro. So I arranged my trip so I could spend a couple days with you. That was when we went from coworkers to friends. We really bonded and realized how much we have in common as like humans and what we want out of life and common passions. So that was a turning point in our friendship, which I was super grateful for.
Me too. And it was just so good to see a friendly, familiar face when I landed in a foreign country and didn't know anybody. I didn't even know the crew. So it was so nice to just have a welcome drink with you and have somebody sharing that giant mansion with me, because that was ridiculous. Nobody needs that much space alone.
It was a good Cinco de Mayo. That's what I think of that trip every time Cinco de Mayo happens.
It was amazing. Okay, well, let's get into some good news. Justin, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. Okay, so I have one that's a travel-related story. Go figure. A lot of people, I've been doing interviews, people asking, where do you want to go when you can travel internationally again? And I keep going back to the same location, but before I answer where I would want to go, where would you want to go abroad for the first spot?
Greece is at the top of my list. It just, those beautiful, like blue and white, seaside cliff hotels, and then the gorgeous Mediterranean, the food, everything about it just is calling to me.
I love it. Greece is on my list, but I'm waiting to be in a relationship to go to Greece. I feel like it's a romantic spot. So I keep going back to Italy. I've only been to Italy once, and obviously it's been super hard hit by the coronavirus. And recently, Sicily, the island off of Italy, where I'm actually from. My mother is 100% Sicilian. My grandparents are from Sicily. Did you hear what Sicily is doing?
No, I need you to tell me.
All right. So Sicily is offering discount half off plane tickets. They're also offering one free night after having 3 nights in a hotel. So they're trying to get people to come to Sicily when travel is back open. They're incentivizing it by offering these vouchers for half-plane tickets, free nights in the hotels, free museum tickets, and other free ways to explore Sicily. Sicily, it's a 50 million euro dollar plan to get more tourists. Since March 10th, when the shutdown kind of began, it said that Sicily and Italy have lost $1.09 billion in tourism. Tourism is 13% of their GDP. So a lot of countries, I feel like Sicily, eventually once borders reopen, are going to offer incentives to get travelers back in their country. So for travelers, hopefully, fingers crossed, it will be good for the wallets and to kind of explore. But travel is going to look a lot different in terms of social distancing. Airports are going to be a lot different. So the good news is, I think once travel starts ramping up, there's going to be a lot of incentives for people to travel, both internationally and domestically.
Yes, I know you're itching to get out there again. I know I am. I just want to hug people. And I don't know when that's going to be, because that's such a big part of like who I am and what I love. And you too, you're such a warm person. So it's going to be interesting to see how things change and what we do have to do to stay safe in the years, weeks, months to come. But that is great news. I think any incentive to get people excited to get out and see the world again, because it's such a beautiful world, and Italy is incredible, and I highly encourage getting back there.
I think so too. And one of the biggest realizations I've had during all this is I used to think that we're all connected through travel, and that was kind of our connective tissue. But what it's really made me realize is it's not travel, it's humanity. We're all connected just through humanity. Like, I feel more connected to the stranger walking on the street with a mask on now more than ever. So whereas I used to kind of always think travel is what connects us, it's really humanity that keeps us connected.
It sure is. It really is. We're all in this together. We keep hearing that over and over again, but our actions affect everybody. I mean, how more connected can we be? So it's just
also some good news too, though. A lot of people, are raging and raving about John Krasinski. We were doing this years before he started. We just don't have millions of followers.
I'm going to keep this positive because it's a good thing. It's a good thing he's doing it. But yeah, John, you didn't come up with it. Okay. How come when I was pitching it about 3-4 years ago, people were like, nobody wants to hear good news. Oh, really? Well, when John Krasinski does it, everybody wants to hear it.
No, okay, it's also, when we get to our silver lining, I'll talk about that too.
Yes.
Yeah, but we'll hold off for that.
Okay, we love you, John Krasinski. Come on our show. We'd love to interview you. We are the OGs right here.
Oh, yeah. So what's your good news story?
So my good news story is, I have a soft spot for our elders, for older people. And I think our governor here in California, Gavin Newsom, is doing an amazing job at handling all this. Well, he recently put a program into effect called Restaurants Deliver Home Meals for Seniors, which is a program that will pay local restaurants to deliver 3 nutritious meals a day to the at-risk seniors during this epidemic, which is incredible. Wow. And it also provides a stimulus to local businesses who might be really struggling to stay afloat right now, because businesses, people aren't going out to eat. They can't go out. And even just staying open to have takeout and delivery isn't really sustaining them. So what they're doing is their restaurants can receive up to $16 for breakfast, $17 for lunch, and $28 for dinner. So the restaurants are getting told to participate in this, which is fantastic. And then elderly people can get free meals. And if you want to enroll, you go to, I have the website open right here.
Oh yeah, I'll put the website too for the Sicily story as well. Go ahead.
Yes, we'll share all this in our stories later, because saying this out loud, you're never going to find it. It's covid19.ca.gov, which is a great resource for what's going on, and then / restaurants deliver home meals for seniors. So you can find it there. I just thought that was really great. We have an elderly neighbor that at the very beginning of this, we wrote him a note. His name's Ed. He's 95 years old. He's always in his front yard doing yard work, and I'm always offering to help him. He's like, nope, if I stop moving, I'm going to die.
Oh my gosh.
God bless him. Like, he's so right. If we sit still and we don't do things, our bodies stop working. Yeah. So he loves doing it too. His garden is gorgeous. So we offered him anything he needed, we would help him out with. He hasn't taken us up on that. I think all of the neighbors are really looking out for him. So that's really cool, right?
Oh, I love that. Can you send Ed over to my house? I have a lot of weeds and gardening I need done.
Yeah, I'm sure he would love to get out there and get in your garden. And honestly, like being in nature is such a good thing for us right now. Getting outside and getting that fresh air when you can is so good for the soul. So Ed knows what's up. He knows the secret to a long and healthy life.
I love it. I love that story. And I think it's great that, one, I remember you posting about leaving that note and just having everyone kind of be mindful of people who are older, that's who is really at risk. And it's always good to hear people helping out our elderly population. So cheers to that. I feel like I need to get off real quick because we have a special guest. So Kristen Brockman, you either should get off and then log back in and Amy will accept your request, or Amy will request you. So Amy, I'll be back, but we're going to let someone else take a little join here. Bye.
Oh, I'm excited. Bye, Justin. Thanks for chatting. We'll be right back with more of Justin. We do have a special guest coming your way, live from Manhattan Beach, California. I'm waiting for her to send me a request because I have never done Instagram Live before with another human being. So just waiting for her to send me that request. How are you guys doing out there in the world today? Where are you? Send me a little note in the comments of where you're watching this from. I want to know how far and wide we are reaching. I see a lot of your comments. Hi, guys. There's Kristen. Okay, view. Go live with Kristen. Here we go. Kristen is such a part of this show. She has been on literally every season of What's Good. Kristen.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry,
It's good.
Turn the volume up.
Beautiful face.
Thank you. I actually put on makeup for you today.
Thank you. Kristen and I are both new moms. Kristen has a 5-month-old now. Theo's 5 months.
5-month-old, 5.5 months old.
Which, honestly, is this kind of a gift to be able to be there with them for every little second? I know that it's hard.
If you see me looking over here, it's because I'm like watching him in the monitor, hoping that he doesn't wake up while I'm doing this. No, I keep saying that this whole thing has kind of been, and I'm sure you can relate, it's kind of been an extension of this whole new mom thing, because it's very isolating. In the beginning, you're at home a lot, it's hard to get out, not a lot of social interaction, in your pajamas, not getting ready, not a lot of showers. So it's actually just kind of been an extension for me, but it has been nice to just be home with him. And my husband's been working from home. And so that's been nice too. So it's an interesting,
I think the whole world knows what it's like. Yeah, the whole world knows what it's like to be a new mom right now.
Totally, that's it. And I was so excited for it to finally, as he got older, like be more out and about and be more social. We tried to have a brunch one day, and first, Theo was fussing, and then Ember was fussing, and it was difficult. So I was excited to get out and about more with them getting older and stuff, but that's okay. We'll do what we got to do, and happy to have a healthy baby and be at home.
Absolutely. And we will resume. We will have our brunch again. And I'm so glad we did that when we could, and we seized that opportunity, even though our children were just accepting what was. It was what it was. And it was a beautiful, amazing day.
They do what they want to do. That's just the way it is. And you got to do what they want you to do. But
we're not in charge anymore.
No.
So I have a question for you before we get into your good news story. I know you have a beautiful view of Manhattan Beach and the Pacific Ocean. Can you see the bioluminescence?
Yes. I actually just went to see that last night, actually.
Oh my gosh, it's so gorgeous.
It's so interesting because when we were walking down there, you can see the waves a little bit off the moonlight, but we didn't see anything at all, because we kept hearing about it. We thought, oh man, we missed it. Oh, it's too late. But the closer that we got, and you can't get too close because everything is shut down here, but the closer that you get, you see it. And it's really interesting because it's not in the front waves. It's in like the second row of waves that come in. And some waves have it and some waves don't, but it's this neon blue that just lights up. It's so cool.
That is so, I've seen people sharing photos, and nature is just amazing. I think that's so beautiful. Mother Nature just showing herself to us. So I'm so glad you get to see that from where you live.
The ironic part is that it's ugly during the day. Like right now, the water it's like blue, a brownish reddish. In fact, when this first started happening, my husband and I kept looking out there and we're like, what is going on with the water? What is happening? We didn't know if there was like oil or what. And then we heard about everybody is posting about the blue waves. So during the day, it's actually not as pretty, but at night, it's gorgeous.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there's two sides to every coin, right? The light and the dark, the beautiful,
Right.
the ugly. It's all part of it.
Yes, it's a beautiful metaphor for the time we're living in right now.
Absolutely. Got to take the good with the bad. So tell us the good, Kristen. I know you brought a good story. You always have a positive outlook on life. And I like where your theme is here today. So share away.
Yeah, well, May is actually Mental Health Awareness Month, and I think we all know mental health is so important right now.
Yeah.
Um, I deal with depression and anxiety for a very large part of my life through my pregnancy, postpartum, and I think even people who don't go through things like this, who maybe never experienced depression or anxiety, are now experiencing it. There is so many reasons that are causing this, whether you are not working and making money right now, whether you're worried about the anxiety of catching the virus or your loved ones catching the virus, whether you're a healthcare worker on the front lines, seeing this every day, the toll that's taking on people. I mean, there's literally just a million, being isolated, detached from your social network, detached from your family. So I think it's just so important. And I found this cute story about, there's a coffee shop in Chicago. Shout out to Chicago. I know Justin's from Chicago.
Yeah.
Of course, I had to pick something from the Midwest because all three of us are from there. But there is this coffee shop in Chicago called Sip of Hope. You can go to their Instagram. It's at Sip of Hope. And they are a coffee shop that 100% of their proceeds go to suicide prevention, mental health awareness, and education. And it goes to actually a nonprofit called Hope for the Day. So after their operational costs and after they pay their employees, everything goes to those programs. And they unfortunately had to shut down with everything that's going on in Chicago, but they were just allowed to open back up for pickups. They're not making coffees, but they are selling their coffee and their bags of coffee and their merchandise. And so anyone can buy that too. So if you want to go to their website, if you go to their Instagram, you can find it. You can actually order coffee from them to be delivered to you. And so they can get back to doing what they do best, which is providing these resources for the community, which are so vital right now. And I just think it's such a cute concept. And they actually have 10 employees that they're not trained clinicians to help. They're not trained to provide, mental health. They're not therapists, but they are in mental health aid. So they know the right things to say and to do if people come into their shop, because it is a place they want people to be able to talk about this and start this conversation. So people, when the store is open, can come in, and if someone's looking for help and doesn't really know where to start, their employees can guide them in the direction. So I think that's like such a cute idea. Everywhere, if every Starbucks did this would be amazing. So definitely go follow them at Sip of Hope and buy a bag of their coffee.
That's amazing. Do they ship nationwide?
Huh?
Great. We're going to order some today. And we'll share all these links after the show. I'm writing this down.
Perfect.
So that you guys can click and join in and support these great causes. That's really amazing, Kristen. What a great story. And you're so right. Like, mental health is so important, and it's something we don't talk about enough. And I'm glad that you were vulnerable to share that. Justin actually worked as a suicide prevention hotline caller at one point in his life, which is so cool, Justin, that he was able to do that for people.
I wanted to share with everybody too. I wanted to share a resource where you could call or text. And when I started looking up these, there's like coronavirus mental health resources right now. There's so many that I couldn't even pick one. And there's a lot that are really like state specific. So just Google like mental health free mental health resources, coronavirus, or free mental health resources, California, or whatever state that you're in. Because there's a lot out there right now. And it's people like Justin who volunteer to be on these hotlines and things.
Yeah, there's a lot of great resources, and people just need to know where to find them. So thank you for sharing that. There's also an amazing podcast that I want to mention called The Happiness Lab. And I know I've talked about this a lot. I may have even shared it with you. There was a Yale course called the Psychology of Well-Being, which anyone can take for free if you're looking for something to do right now. It literally changed my life. It talked about all of the miswanting we have, and the things that we attain don't ever really make us happy. So it gives you the tools and the resources to shift your mind frame and to find those things and to put into practice the things that really do support our well-being. So I put that out there as a great resource right now for people that are looking for something. It's a free class. the Happiness Lab podcast is just, it's a great way to digest that and to listen every day. So that just started season 2 last week. There's 2 seasons out. There's a couple of special episodes specifically about coronavirus and ways to cope during this time. So Kristen, thank you so much for sharing those resources.
Of course. Thanks for having me, even though I invited myself.
I'm so glad you did. You're always invited. We love having you on the show. You're an integral part of What's Good, and you are What's Good. I miss you. I'm going to miss that face.
Your face, and I hope to see it in person sooner than later. But until now, we are grateful that we have social media. Can you imagine if we didn't have technology right now when this is going on?
What a gift, right? So grateful.
All right.
Love you.
Hi, Justin. I know you're going to hop back on. I missed you, and I miss you guys too. And thank you for everybody for tuning in, and stay happy and healthy.
Yes. Give Theo a big kiss for us. Say hi to Jimmy.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, Kristen. Okay, Justin is going to hop back on momentarily. We'll hear more about his work with the suicide prevention hotline that he worked on. Just such amazing resources. Again, we will share all of this later in our stories so that you guys can click on those links and help support Sip of Hope. And also the Happiness Lab, the podcast I mentioned. Just, there are so many resources out there. Share them with your network, your crew, your family, your friends, because we are all in this together and we really need to look out for one another. So let me get Justin back here. Go live with Justin. Okay, this is so easy. I wish we would have done this sooner. Justin has been asking me to do this show for almost a month, and we're finally doing it.
Hello, I'm back.
He's back.
Kristen, it was so good to see you and listen to you. And I think Kristen opening up and just being very vulnerable is so important to see. I think social media is positive, but it's so much pressure to always keep, you know, this facade and this image of everything is perfect, everything is amazing. So yeah. I really appreciate when people like Kristen share being vulnerable about suffering from depression and that sort of thing. And her story is great. I think, you know, you mentioned I've worked on a suicide hotline before. I did that when I was at Boston College. And the number one thing is compassionate listening. We didn't solve people's problems. We didn't even give advice. On the hotline, we weren't allowed to give advice. So people would call in, and literally our job was to provide compassionate listening. And I think that is such a skill that is so important and valuable in these times now as well. You just be a friend and a listener to people that you love and care for. And the happiness class that you talked about, I signed up at the beginning of this and I haven't done it yet. So Kristen, I'm putting the challenge out there. Will you do that class with me? I need someone to keep me accountable. Instead of watching Netflix and being lazy, I want to take that happiness class. So Kristen, challenge. Will you do that with me?
I love it. Yes, an hour a day. That's all you need. Not even an hour, maybe half an hour, 20 minutes. Just read and just fill your mind with all this positivity. It's phenomenal. It changed my life. Justin, you've been a part of so many life-changing moments for me. I feel like I say that about everything we do together. I'm like,
I know.
Life.
Yeah.
But, oh, Kristen's in. She's accepting your job.
Okay, great. Kristen, we are going to keep each other accountable, and we, over the month of May, we'll finish it. Amy, May is enough time for us to do it?
It's 10 weeks, so you have.
Okay. We're doing it, Kristen. I'm calling you after this. We're doing it.
The last 4 weeks, I think, are a recap, so it's really 6 weeks plus 4 weeks.
Okay.
You'll get through it. You'll love it. Once you start going, you're going to get, it's insatiable. You're just going to want to get to the thing. So
love it. Awesome.
I'm excited for you guys.
Yeah.
So let's get into some 60-second silver lining, shall we?
I did look at it. I even cut up and put them in a bowl on my end. And usually when we've done this in the past, usually it's all your people. And the question we had this time, I got a lot of responses finally. And I think it goes to show that people want to talk about good news. People want to share good things going on in their life.
They absolutely do. The one thing I did not think about was a timer, but I'm just going to watch the clock until it goes to 11:28.
We can wing it. Yeah, we can wing it.
And then you will kick us off. So we posted the question. Yep. The bad news is we're facing a global pandemic, but the good news is, Justin, kick us off.
All right. Ty from Burning Man says, my husband and I are thrilled with each other's company and making this fun for our kid as much as we can while managing work.
Oh, I love that. Chris Newell says, nature worldwide is healing. Air, rivers, and oceans are all cleaner than they've been in decades.
Mary Baker says, we are getting chickens. She's in London, or she's in the UK.
Amazing. I think being sustainable is so important right now. Nicholas Dramard says people are discovering new and creative ways to entertain themselves and others.
Ben Roy said, it's led me to implement a daily meditation into my routine.
Very important. Drew McEnany says we are all united under Tiger King.
Boo, I did not like Tiger King. All right. Morgan Michael says, I'm working on a little series and have fun doing it while sharing it next week. And she's doing the ABCs of quarantine. It's really fun.
I love it. Georgia Minda says, my Candy Crush is at an all-time high.
Andrea Roy says, Bruce and I are walking 3 miles a day and getting lots of stuff done around the house.
And we have time for one more. Thomas Fischella says, relocation off of Earth to a colony on Mars is right on track.
And then one more. Amy Paffrath says, I'm witnessing every moment of my child's development.
Oh, it's so, so true. Any of the parents out there that have kids that are at home and they're homeschooling, my heart goes out to you, because that's got to be so hard. But the new moms like me that are in this infancy stage, it is such a blessing, because I'm not rushing around in the world missing these precious moments that I'm never going to see again. Yeah. I saw her for the first time. I saw her pull up to stand for the first time. Literally watching her figure it out and watching the little mechanisms in her brain. It's amazing. I am so it's the beauty and the simplicity right now. Life is very simple. We're getting back to the basics. I'm doing a lot of cooking, a lot of yoga. Justin, what are you doing to stay happy and safe?
So I've been doing a lot of with my travel stuff, Instagram live chats, which these have been really fun. I didn't do this stuff before the pandemic. I've been going for a lot of runs. I don't have any weights to work out with, so I do miss the gym, but I've been doing a lot of running, which has been nice, and getting back into running shape. And I've been doing some reading, some puzzles. This is one of my favorite things. If anybody likes escape rooms, this is literally an escape room in a book. It's called Journal 29. And if you like, I'm on number 23. Every page is a different puzzle and challenge to get through the escape room. And then you have to use like a scan to then put in the passcode, and it's super fun. So just been doing puzzles and games and phone calls and trying to stay connected with people. What it has made me realize, like you, I am so extroverted and I miss face-to-face interaction. So it's like, as much as I do love the connection over digital, I'm thriving for that face-to-face soon enough.
Yeah, same. I think we both have that love language of quality time.
Yeah.
So seeing in person, I'm missing that as well. But we will get back there.
We will do it.
What has to be done right now. We are making a sacrifice for humanity, so we're doing our part. Okay, speaking of books, I want to hear your thoughts on this, because I know you haven't finished it. Usually it's me that has to. And guess what? Guess where this is from? The library. I don't think the library ever wants this back. And they're like, yay! They're like, please keep the book forever.
We agreed to do this as a book club for a month. Yeah. You actually read it, and I didn't finish it. But look, I have pages where I've highlighted. I do highlight when I read. So when I read, I actually love paperback books. I don't like Kindles, because I love being able to highlight what I find important and what resonates with me. And then I do often go back to books that I've highlighted and reread what I've highlighted.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
That's a good part of owning a book, because mine go back to the library, so I can't highlight it.
Thing though, we both, before I tried to reread this again, how many times did you try to read this before you actually finished the full book?
Well, I tried to read it like in 2005. Remember when Paris Hilton went to jail? He was photographed holding this book. And this is when I really cared about celebrities. I think it was right before I moved to LA. And I was like, I need to read that book. Paris Hilton's reading it.
Oh,
and I looked it up and I was like, I don't get it. It's too heady for me. I did not resonate at all. So I sat down and read it again, and this time I was like, oh, I can't get enough of it. You definitely have to be in the right mind frame and looking for this type of knowledge and be open to receiving it. Yeah. And I was ready to receive this message. How many times have you tried to read it?
I got to do it again, but I've tried 3 times now to get through it. And here's the thing. I have one big takeaway that I've gotten through about the first third of the book. And I love the takeaway, and I just need to get back into it. It is a really dense read, and I think that I found myself on airplanes just rereading the same page a couple times, going like, what is he trying to say? And I think what you helped me realize is I just need to have the big takeaways from it. Hi, JJ. Thanks for saying hi and joining and popping in. So for me, the biggest takeaway that I have so far, and I'm going to read it, is we spend so much time thinking about the past and the present and not grounded in, I'm not the present, the past and the future. We are so stuck thinking about the past and thinking about our future that we don't spend enough time on all we have control over, and that is the present. That's the biggest takeaway I have so far. And it has made me realize, like, I do spend a lot of time thinking about the past or the future.
Yeah, it's not just you. It's the way our minds are conditioned. They want to take us out of this moment. And I think this book is very repetitive. So if you do get through it, you'll notice the themes. He keeps saying the same thing over and over again because it is such a heady concept that he just breaks it down in different ways over and over again. So I liked that because it becomes very digestible.
Yeah.
But that is the biggest takeaway, is that we time travel in our own minds. We're reliving a moment in the past, or we're worrying about the future. And we're missing the only thing we really have, which is right now. That's all we ever have. The future is not promised to any of us, as we know.
Yeah.
And the one thing I struggled with when I was reading this was like, okay, Eckhart Tolle, how do I even, so I'm not supposed to ever make plans? Like I can't, I love to make plans. Yeah. And you know what's really funny is that literally like a couple days after that, my planner, water fell all over my planner and wiped away all of my plans. And then 2 days later, we went on lockdown and I was like, well, I don't need this planner anymore. Like, there is my answer. Yes, make plans, but also realize that they're probably going to change. Yeah. So that was just mind blowing. And I get goosebumps even talking about that right now because it's just like a tangible, real scenario of like, listen, you don't know anything. The world can change on a dime. So yes, have an idea of where you want your life to go, but then accept what is and stop resisting and thinking it should be different. That was the biggest takeaway for me. My daughter yesterday, Ember, came down with a fever, and it was kind of scary because it's her first fever. And so last night I was just really helping her through it. About 2 a.m. she woke up really warm. I gave her some Tylenol, and I was just holding her. And instead of worrying about today and thinking like, how am I going to feel tomorrow? Is she going to be okay? Are we going to have to go to the emergency room? I just stayed in that moment and just held her baby and just rooted myself in that. And it feels so much better. Yeah. It feels like I handled this moment. And in this moment, everything is fine. She's okay. She's safe. I'm safe. So if you get ahead of yourself, you can get into a really bad place. But if you stay right here, you'll realize that everything is perfect. And until it changes, you don't need to worry about it. Then when it does change, then we worry about it. Then we spring into action. So I love this book, life-changing.
What an omen, too, to have your water spill on your planner when you're kind of almost thinking, it's almost like it's an omen and a sign to try and just have that kind of reminder of, no, I'm going to show you that you can live in the now. And what better time to learn and figure out how to do that. I go to therapy, or I have a therapist that I love. I've been going to him for about over a year now. And my last session with him, we really realized one of the reasons I'm struggling in quarantine, or have struggled, is because I'm so result and goal driven and focused. And he said yesterday, he was like, you're a result slut. And I was like, what is a result slut? And it was this idea of I'm always working towards a result and a goal, that it's like, it's not necessarily about the result. And it's not about, like what you're saying, planning and articulating what is to come. Be focused in the now. So even hearing you say that helps me in my journey of, one, I got to read the book and get through it. Kristen, do you want to read the book with me as well as our happiness class? But two, it is easier said than done to really stay grounded and focused on what is in front of us in the present, in the now. And that is a gift. It's something to work on and to figure out how to do.
Absolutely. And it's just an awareness. It's about watching your mind and seeing, oh, there I go again. Oh, I'm living in the past. I'm projecting the future, and just not judging it. And you and I both are results oriented. And I'm also a perfectionist. And that causes a lot of heartache for me because I have a plan and it's going to go like this. And then when it doesn't, I get really resistant. But Kristen's getting a little...
Okay, we're just going to do, Kristen, you and I will just do the class. I actually downloaded, there's an app called Libby, and I downloaded The Power of Now as an audiobook But then I realized I only listen to audio stuff and podcasts when I'm driving, and I'm not driving anywhere. So maybe I just need to take a road trip for like 6 hours somewhere to listen to the book and get it through.
Just drive through LA. You can go anywhere right now, and there's no traffic. So that's a huge positive thing as well.
Yeah.
But I encourage anyone to pick this up. It might be a little dense, it might be a little heady, but give it a try. Listen to it if you want Eckhart Tolle. And he's a great follow, by the way, on Instagram. He shares really beautiful posts. So
someone did write a comment of, if Paris Hilton can read that book, anybody can. So
Jeff Garlic,
I got to get back into it.
Paris is more woke than we give her credit for. So, well, Justin, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for encouraging me to get this going and being patient that it took so long to happen. And Kristen, thank you for joining us. We love you.
So Amy, just to let you know, when you X out an N, it's going to ask you to save it. You're going to want to save it.
Okay, I will save it.
Share it to your story.
I will, and I'm going to share it on Facebook too. And we usually have a field piece in every episode. I have been posting them to my YouTube channel, which I'll share a link. It's youtube.com/Amy Paffrath TV. Thank you guys so much for joining us on What's Good Live, our inaugural episode. This will not be the last. Let's do this again.
And also, you've been doing an amazing job with Spectrum, still keeping your What's Good segments alive. They've been fun to watch, and I'm really happy that they've made it work where you can do that from home.
Me too. Thank you, Justin. And I'm proud of you for getting out there and sharing your love of travel with the world and encouraging people to go visit this beautiful planet and get back out there. And we will see you. So
when we can, and it's great to be able to talk to you and connect with you. I miss being able to have these type of conversations with you, and let's keep it going. Love you.
Let's do it. I love you. Have a great day. Everybody, thank you for joining us. Be safe. Be kind to each other.